Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be using these Spectrum Aqua markers. I just picked them up the other day and I thought they were kind of fun to use, so I thought I would use them in today's video. I'm also using a stamp set from W+9. So what I'm doing is putting the stamp onto my clear acrylic block, and then I colored on it with my marker and then spritzed it with water. So this is kind of like a faux watercolor technique, and it helps control the water a little bit better than just freehanding these flowers with watercolors. So I'm just doing the same thing. I'm coloring onto the stamp with the ink and then stamping it twice. So one of them will be a little bit lighter, and it also depends on how much water you're putting on there, because if you don't squirt very much water, you're probably not going to be able to get two stamps out of it. So then I'm taking the center and I'm just coloring that in with a darker shade of marker and then stamping that in the middle. So for the second one, I'm not spritzing that with any water because the background one is still a little bit wet. It's going to help it flow and still look more watercolor-like. So that way it's not going to run too much and you're not going to have too much water on your paper. So then I'm doing the same thing with the leaves. I'm just inking those up and then stamping them. The second one on that leaf did not stamp as well, so I just went ahead and stamped right over it. That's the really nice thing about clear stamps, is you can stamp in the exact same spot. So I am just coloring these in and then stamping the leaves. I will have all of the supplies linked below if you're interested in these markers. I haven't used them too much, but the little bit that I have, I really like them, and I can't wait to try some new techniques and cards with them. They also do come in other colors. This one I think is called the Floral Pack, but there are some other packs too. So if you like more neutral colors, you can go for that. This one has a little bit more brighter colors, and the pinks, yellow, purple, and the greens that you would use for flowers. So then I'm just picking one of the other stamps and inking that up or coloring it with purple and then stamping that down. That's the other nice thing about these floral stamps, is that they have the different layers, so you can kind of work with them and create many different scenes. I should also mention I am working on the Tim Holtz watercolor cardstock. So it is a water-soluble cardstock. I'm not exactly sure how it would work on a regular cardstock with the water. You're probably not going to get them blending as well. So next I'm going to move on to a smaller image. I'm using the leaves that are going to go with the purple flowers. And the other green that comes in this set, it's a little bit more of a forest moss green color. It has a little bit more brown in it, not as vibrant as the other green, but I like how that kind of tones down the look on the card. And then I'm going to use one smaller floral stamp to fill in the areas around those larger flowers. So I'm coloring this one in with a yellow. It's really hard to see on camera because it's so light, but it is a really bright yellow. Almost it has a green tint kind of to it. And then I'll grab the center to that flower, and then I'm going to color that in with a more golden yellow. And again, I'm not spritzing the second one with water just because the first stamp is still wet, so it's going to make that ink blend a little bit together. Alright, so then I'm going to let my background dry completely. So while that dried, I'm going to mat that onto a piece of dark gray cardstock. I'm using my ATG adhesive. And then I'm going to mount that on a white A2 size card base. So I just took one sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock and cut it in half, and then folded that in half to be my card base. So for my sentiment, I'm using this Scripty Thanks die cut from Lawn Fawn. I went ahead and die cut that out using my Cuddle Bug out of a piece of black cardstock. And I'm just going to add a little bit of my multi-matte medium to the back. And I just like to place little dots on the background. I think it's the easiest way. You could also use like a Xyron sticker maker just so that there's adhesive that covers the entire back of that die cut. And then I'm going to place that right on to my cardstock. It's a pretty simple card and one that is easy to make. You can make lots of different colored backgrounds with those markers. So once I get that all pressed down and make sure that all of the areas have adhesive on the back, I'm going to add a little bit of sparkle. I'm going to be using the Wink of Stella clear glitter pen. It's my favorite pen to add glitter onto my cards just because it's such a subtle kind of look on your card. It doesn't add any bulk or extra chunky glitter on there. It's just a really nice shimmer. And I'm just tracing all along that die cut so that it is completely sparkly and shiny. And then I'm just going to add a few sequins onto this card, mix them in between all of the flowers and near the sentiment. So I'm using a mix from Mint Owl Studio. This is the Cotton Candy mix. These sequins are gorgeous. They are an opaque, but they have an iridescent look. They're so sparkly and just really pretty in person. So there are some pink and some white ones. Even though those white ones, they look blue, they are considered white. They just kind of take on different looks depending on what it is near. So I'm just scattering these onto my card, and then I will go ahead and adhere them down with my multi-matte medium, the same one that I used for my sentiment. It works really well. It's just a really strong adhesive and it really holds those sequins into place. So I just like to squirt a dot onto my cardstock and then set the sequin into that and then press it down, and they're usually pretty secure even going through the mail. Alright, so I really hope you guys enjoyed this card, and we'll check out these markers if you don't already have them, because I think they're a pretty cool product. Make sure that you're subscribed to my channel so that you can see all of my latest videos, and I will see you back here next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye everyone!